Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Great to have you back. Thanks for taking your time to watch my videos. As always, it's always an exciting day when we've got some new Ping product to review, and today we're going to have a look at the G430 driver. A little bit of background on the story. G430 is replacing the hugely successful G425, and it is replacing it to a degree, but what's interesting with Ping is that they always keep the previous model in the range for a little while. Most companies, when they release a new driver, the previous drivers like killed off, any remaining stocks got rid of, and that's it. But Ping always seem to keep their drivers in for sometimes a year, 18 months. So G425 will still be available. They'll be at different price points, which we'll tell you a little bit about later in the video. And I suppose the big question you're going to ask through this video to yourself is G430 any better than G425? And I'll try and answer those questions for you, as always, impartially and honestly as I can. Let's first of all just talk a little bit about the tech just for a few minutes. And as I say in all my videos, if you're really interested in the tech and the spec, just go onto the Ping website wherever you are in the world. It's a really good website. It's all clear and concise, and you can find out as much about the tech as you want to. I'm just going to give you a few bullet points of what I think are the major things to be aware of with the G430, what they've done, how they've tried to improve it. So the overall picture is they are saying we took the Max, the game's most forgiving driver, that also ranks as one of the longest, and I can't disagree with that. G425 has been one of the biggest selling drivers, if not the #1 driver in the UK over the past 2 years, used by so many tour pros who aren't even contracted to Ping. And I think that's always a great sign that they've got a good product, when people who aren't getting paid to use the product use it. So yeah, made even longer. Made even longer. We'll talk about that why again in a minute, while producing a more pleasing sound. This is one of the big points to make about G430 over G425. One of the few criticisms I ever got on 425 was the noise. And it was quite a noisy, or is quite a noisy driver. Some people weren't bothered by that noise, and other people it affected more than others. I had a couple of guys who bought G425 drivers and actually bought them back saying, I love the driver, I love the performance of it, but I can't stand the noise. And I'm like, okay, bring it back, you know, we'll swap it for something else. But that was few and far in between. But Ping have taken this on board, and they've definitely changed the acoustics of the driver. New face design optimization leads to increased flexing for a big distance gain. Now, this is where I'm always slightly skeptical when companies are saying a big distance gain. You've got to remember that golf clubs drivers have to be built to a certain spec. They cannot not exceed certain tolerances, and they have to send these drivers off to be measured and examined by the USGA and the RNA to see that the ball doesn't come off this club face faster than a set speed. So when companies make claims, and Ping aren't one of the companies who will tend to make these claims, there's other companies which I'm sure you're aware of who will shout a bit about louder and say this is our longest driver ever. Ping aren't kind of like that, so we've got to be careful with this a little bit and see where that pans out. They've added a 25 gram movable back weight, which we've had in G425. This is the back weight you can see here. It's made out of tungsten, and they've increased the weight of this. Basically what happens is, in its position it's in at the moment, it's in neutral. Okay, if we move that weight into the heel of the club, it gives it a draw bias. Moving weight into here helps the face stay a little bit more closed, and if we move the weight more into the toe, it gives it a fade bias. So they've increased that weight bias, if you like. Available in 9 degree, 10.5 and 12, but remember we've got a degree and a degree and a half of adjustability on top of that. When we move, and we've also got flat settings as well, where we can change the lie angles. So quick whiz through about what they're talking about here, and it will be quick. A shallower, thinner, variable thickness face, and the transition design play a balanced role in saving weight from the face while creating more deflection to generate faster ball speed to our biggest distance gains yet. Sound engineering, research into audio frequencies and harmonics, blah, 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 blah. Read it yourself if you're interested. Basically, a more desirable, better sound at impact. Spin consistency is basically new to the driver family, is a variable roll radius that creates less loft low on the face to improve performance. So if you hit one a little bit low on the face, generally they don't get airborne, do they? So this technology is helping launch your miss-hit shots off the bottom, reducing spin, giving you better ball speed, so more playable basically. I think that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's just very quickly have a little look at some of the shaft offerings, if my mouse will just reappear and give me the shaft options. Here we go. Okay, a whole new range of shafts available. We've got a reworked Alta CB in black. Specs you can see here. We look at the regular, it's 57 grams, mid to high launch. This will be the bread and butter shaft. This is where most of the sales will come from. And then we've got these sort of couple of aftermarket shafts. We've got a hazardous smoke, which comes in a couple of different specs actually. It comes in the red RDX 50 and the red RDX 60, and these have different sort of properties in regards to launch angles and shaft weights. This shaft here is a good one. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Somebody help me with this. Kalia White 60 by Mitsubishi. Very good shaft. This is the one I'll be hitting today actually. I've got this in a stiff 65 gram. It's a low to mid flight. And then we've got the two tour shafts. In the past we've only had one tour shaft in different weights, but we've now got the tour chrome and the tour black. Differences in here seem to be launches and weights. So we've got some really good shafts. No extra charges for these aftermarket shafts. Ping have always done that. Some companies will upcharge you if you want an extra shaft. Have I got much else to tell you about this Max Driver? I'm going to hit it with this Kalia shaft in. As I said, in stiff. I've got this set to 9.5 degrees of loft. Let's go and hit some. Right, time to put this club through its paces. Looks great. Have a little overhead from above. Well, I say it looks great. One of the other little small negatives that I do get a little bit about is the turbulators. The turbulators look a little bit bigger this time. For those of you not familiar with the turbulators, I'll give you a little close-up as well. They're these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little ridges which sit on the top of the crown of the club. Now, turbulators we all thought was a made-up name. It's actually a real name used in the air industry for basically, I think they put them on tips of wings to increase the aerodynamics. But the whole deal with these turbulators is to try and increase club speed, not massively, maybe 2 to 3 miles an hour. So the turbulators do look a little bit more pronounced. I mean, I'm so used to seeing turbulators now that I almost ignore it. But for somebody using a Ping driver for the first time, might take a little bit of getting used to. Yeah, I love the little accents. I like the little what we call lipstick on the back of the club here. The little lines just around the back. First time we've really seen those on a Ping driver. It's very subtle. I like the colour scheme. It's this sort of like, it's not quite a lime green and black, but it's just a little bit more funky for Ping, and I like that. I think they're moving with the times. So yeah, 9.5 degrees. I've got this Kalia shaft. Please, I don't know how to pronounce that, so forgive me if it's wrong. It's 45.25 inches long. I'm on my favourite driving hole at Kinsale Golf Club somewhere in Ireland, and I've got Mizuno RB, what am I using, 566 golf balls on the deck, sort of a mid-range ball, nothing actually too high performance and spinny for this test. The other thing I must do as well is, a few people said to me, quite like what you're doing with your videos, but can you do some testing at slower club speeds? And I will do that, because I appreciate, not everybody maybe swings a driver at 100 miles an hour plus. So we will do some work on that, on some lower swing speed testing in some of these other drivers. Okay, let's go. Let's hit one. Okay, not a great strike. Might pick up that bunker on the left-hand side. Ooh, just missed it. Perfectly judged, just short. Felt like a toey strike. We'll look at the numbers as we go. A 104 club speed, 146 ball speed, spinning at 2,130, launching at 10, carry distance of 242 with a predicted run out of around about 270. It wasn't a good strike, but you know, first cut, we'll take it. Let's try and start one a little bit further right with a touch of draw and see. Ooh, that wasn't a bad strike. That felt centered. This is pretty good. A 102 club speed. My max club speed when I'm really swinging and loose and warmed up and had a bit of spinach for breakfast, I can push maybe 107, but 102 is about my average. 145 ball speed, good launch at 11.2 degrees, great spin rate. This shaft really works for me. I've tried some other shafts and they spin up a little bit. 2,000 revs to spin, a 245 carry with a nice flight on it. Felt great. Noise of this driver is dramatically different to the 425, folks, especially indoors, you know, where the noise sounds a little bit obviously bounces off the walls a little bit. I'm in a concrete building here rather than out in a wide open space. Let's go another one. Let's lean on one. Excuse the background banging. Bangers are the builders are banging away as usual. Soundtrack to my day. Bit of a high toe strike, that one. Testing its playability. This might spin up a bit, this one. Let's see. No, he didn't actually. Again, exactly the same. 102 club speed, 140 ball speed. Ball speed dropped off a little because the strike wasn't great. Spin stayed low. Carry stayed up at 243. Let's play around a little bit with a couple of shot shapes. I'm going to attempt to hit my fade, which is always hilarious because I can't really fade the ball too much. Open out the stance. Going to try and deliver the club a little bit more out to him, but this sometimes results in a double cross pull. We'll try it. Whoa, that's about as much as I can fade the ball. A nice little fairway finder, that finished right on the line. Hilarious. There's me trying to swing out to in, and I did actually 5.5 degrees, which is quite good for me with the face open to the path, but you can see it doesn't move that much, but it is a fade. What do we get? Another 102 club speed, quite consistent with that today. 143 ball speed. Launch is going to go up because I'm keeping the face open a bit. Spin's going to go up, so still got 239 carry out of that one. This is a very impressive driver, everybody. Ping have really done a job on this one. I'm going to go one more. Oh, thought that was going right when I hit it, but I just rescued it just about. Pretty consistent, isn't it? 103 club speed, 143 ball speed, launching at 13, spinning at 2.2. Let's just bring those numbers up for some averages. So ball speed stayed very consistent. I've averaged a 143 ball speed. I've got a 12.5 launch. I'm averaging 2.272 spin. I'm getting an average carry of 242. Factoring ground conditions for run out, rock hard conditions, that might run out to 280. Winter time, that might pitch and stop at whatever, 250. Wow. So I know that's only 4 or 5 shots, and a lot of guys test this much more extensively than I do, and I get that, but I can tell pretty quickly from my own abilities how good a driver is after hitting 4 or 5 drives if I'm putting half decent swings on them, which they were okay. What do I like about this driver? I like the look of it. I love the feel of it. I love the noise of it. The numbers here on the off-center hits stay very good. More than the G425? I would say yes. Is it longer than G425? For me, I probably should do a head-to-head test. I'm not sure. I'm not saying it isn't, but I think it would be quite close. I don't see how this driver is going to go a lot further than the G425 because of the tolerances you've got to build it at. Now here's the question. If you're using a G425, should you change to G430? It is a good question to ask. My answer to that would be go and test it. Go to a fitting centre like mine, somewhere, wherever you live in the world. They're dotted all over the place. Take your 425 in there, build a 430 to a similar spec, get on a launch monitor, a TrackMan, a GC2 or whatever you're hitting on, flight scope, doesn't matter, they all do the same job, and look at the numbers. And if you see a change in yardage, or you lose your backspin, or the dispersion gets a bit tighter, then maybe it's worth spending some money. If the numbers are very similar, don't change it. Stick with your 425. If you're using a Ping driver like a G30, a G400, a G410, I would be pretty certain that this driver here would improve your numbers quite significantly. I'm pretty confident of that. So, price-wise, over here in the UK, this driver is selling currently online on all the big golf stores at £469. And you go, wow, that's a lot of money for a driver. Well, look at the new Callaway driver that's just been launched. What's it called? Paradigm? It's a Paradigm, I think it's called. £599. The new TaylorMade Stealth 2 driver. I'm not sure what that's running out at. Probably, I don't know, $499, something like that, something in that region. So driver prices have gone up. Everything's gone up, hasn't it? So this is maybe where the G425, I'm going to currently keep the 425 at $399, and then you've got this one at $469. So, if you want to save yourself 70 quid or whatever it is, you can do that. But the price is what it is. That's what we got to pay. I've got nothing much more to say about this driver except Ping. You've done a great job. You always say that you'll never release new products until you think it's better than the previous one. That's their ethos, and they've definitely improved on G425. How much? Not much, but there's definitely something going on in this driver, which is an improvement. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you're in the market for a new driver this year, go and try the G430. Remember, it comes in 4 different specs actually. We'll be doing videos on all the other ones. You've got the Max, you've got the SF Tech straight flight technology, counteracting fade stroke slice for a right-handed golfer. LS Tech, low spin technology, generally works better for high club speed golfers or people who put a lot of spin on it. But that's a different design to the others, which is interesting. And we've also got a high launch driver with a specific chassis. So more videos to come. They will get posted in the next couple of weeks, and I think you'll find them interesting. Thanks for watching the video today. Post your comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you think the video is any good, give it one of them thumbs up things. It just helps. Thanks a lot. All the best. Bye for now.